Hey gang, today we're going to be doing the classic solo from Sweetheart Like You, Bob Dylan's song from the Infidels album. Mick Taylor played the solo on this one. It really shows the master touch on it. The notes themselves aren't that hard to play and aren't that many of them, which right away actually shows you're kind of a master touch. He just picks the right notes, but it's really articulated beautifully. It's one of my favorite all-time solos. First we'll do the demo, and then we'll do the lines up close. Hey, if you like this one, please give it the thumbs up. And if you haven't yet, please subscribe. Of course, always love to hear your suggestions. If you can put them in the comments below, or the comments that you have on the video, that'd be great. Okay, we'll see you in just a second with the demo and then the line-by-line instruction. All right, gang, let's go over this in some detail, and we're going to go in this order. We're going to start talking about the sound. Second thing is I'll demo the whole thing slow motion, and I'm going to go through it line by line in gory detail, super slow-mo and in gory detail. So let's start out with the sound. You can see I'm using an S-style guitar. That doesn't matter. You don't need an S-style guitar, although it's helpful if you have a guitar with two pickups. More on that later, as we'll see when I'm doing the instruction. However, the thing that is definitely important is you don't want to use too much gain on your amplifier, okay? Now I'm using a Marshall's, a modeler that has a sort of a Marshall early 70s sound, and I'm using only, my gain is clocked at around 6, so I'm using only moderate gain, and I just have a touch, just a touch of reverb, and there's nothing else. If you use too much gain, you're going to ruin the touch on your fingers and you're going to ruin the articulation. So don't use too much gain. All right, enough said. So 2 or more pickups, don't use too much gain. I think that covers it. Let's demo the solo in slow-mo. Now the whole thing is in C sharp minor. All the chords are diatonic to that, so the solo is in that. And we're going to start out with the C sharp minor blues box position right up here at the 9th fret, okay? So we're going to start out here. The first note is going to be a bent, a full string bend on the 11th, 3rd string, 11th fret. Okay, so here we go. All right, that's the whole solo. Now you could see me, I hope, switch from, I went from my neck pickup to the bridge pickup in the middle of that, and that's the only reason why it's helpful to have the 2 pickups. All right, gang, let's go through this line by line. We're going to go through it very, very slowly, and I'll give you the color commentary. So let's start out with this one. Remember, this is all in the C sharp minor pentatonic scale. So most of it is going to be in this home scale of the regular blues box at the 9th fret. All right, so we're going to start out in the neck position, and we're going to start out right here. So I'll just play the line. All right, so, obviously that's an easy line. It's an easy line to play the notes, but you really have to articulate it a little bit carefully and slowly and come in on the right beat and stuff like that, and play a lot by feel, kind of ending up on the right beat. I do want to point out that, you're bending up a whole step, and then you're coming down. When you get down, you're going to pull off, or when you get down to the natural state here on the 3rd string 11th, we're going to play. And a lot of this solo is really ending on an E note in some sort of way, either like this, or as we'll find out a little bit later, like that, which is sort of a slightly Hendrixy way of getting there. All right, anyway, the first line is just that simple. Okay, here's the second line. Notice I'm giving just a little bit of vibrato at the very end as well. You don't want to give too much or too manic vibrato, but just give a little vibrato at the end of these lines. Now, believe it or not, I think that one's actually the most difficult line in the solo, and it's because of this sort of country rock device. It's not easy to articulate that one. And you'll notice that I'm bending with my second finger. There's method to that. There's a reason why I'm doing that. It's because I find it awkward when I bend with my third finger and try and articulate what's going on. So let me go through this in some detail. We're going to bend on the 3rd string on the 11th, and then we're going to reach up to the 1st string and play it, come back to the 11th, and then do a little bit of a line on the 1st and 2nd string. So we're skipping strings. We're playing on upper strings while we have this bent and sustained. So it's sort of like this. We'll bend up here and sustain it. And then I'm going to skip to the top and play the 12th. Back to the bent 11. And then the 9th on the top string. 12th on the 2nd string. And now the 3rd string 11th bent and bring it down. Slowly. So again, it's... Okay, and then we end it by the... Now what's nice about that one is this is kind of normal. But then when we go back to the 3rd string, we're going to bend that on the 11th and then come right to the 9. So it sounds like this. Real cool line. Okay, so here's the next line. Okay, so here we're sliding up. There's a little bit of a slide on the 3rd string from the 11th to the 13th. 12 on the 2nd, and then 14. Now we're going to the 3rd string 11th and doing that same bend. Okay, so that's the line. Here's the next line, a beauty. Okay, I love this line. It's not hard, but it just is a beautiful connection. The notes chosen are just beautiful. So we're going to bend on the 3rd string 11th, like we have been all the time. It's an ordinary bend, right? And then 2nd string we're going to play 10th, not 9th. And then 12th. And then back to the 11th and bend it. And then again, go directly to the 9th instead of bringing it down. Here's the whole line again slowly. Okay, so that's that. Now we're going to switch to the bridge pickup. It just gives it, when I listen to it on the record, it just gives it a little bit higher pitch, a little more treble-y, and so it tends to work a little bit better. So this is a really long line. We're going to cover it in a couple of parts, but I want to play the whole thing together because I think you have to see it as one line in order to get it. And it is a beauty. Okay, let me play it again slowly. By the way, there's other ways that you can do this. You can do it more staying in position. I like the sound of these strings better, so that's why I moved down to this position. Of course, I don't know exactly what Mick Taylor did. I've never seen him play it, so I don't know exactly what he did, but I like the sound of that better to have the higher timbre, so that's why I play it down there. Okay, so let me play it again slowly. Okay, obviously lots of double stops in this one, and pretty ones too. So here we're going to be playing on the first two strings, 12th fret, so it's a double stop on the first two strings, and we're going to play around with that by hammering from 12 to 14 on both the first and second strings in the following way. Okay, simple as that. Okay, now we come down to the second and third strings. We're going to play second on the 13th, on the 11th, third string 11th, second string 12th. We're going to hammer from 11th to 13th on the third string. Okay, so that's that. So here's how we do that. You got to hammer on, you got to hold on this and hammer on on the third string from the 11th to 13th. And then slide that down from 11 to 9 on the third string. And then we'll play 11 and 9. And here's where I come down to play this. You can still play it right here. Again, I like the lower timbre, so that's why I played, or timbre of this song, so that's why I played it down there. So it goes like this. So here, what I'm doing is I'm playing 4 and 5 on the second and third strings. Okay, so that's that. So, and then we're going to hit on the 6th, slide down to 4th. Ending up here, 4th string, 2nd fret. Now again, you can play like this. See how it has just a lower timbre, or timbre? Timbre, I think it's called. It's spelled timbre. Anyway, it just has a lower sound to it. How about that? It has a lower sound to it, and I didn't dig it as much as I like the other, so that's what I went for. All right, so that's that line. Let me play the whole thing again because it is a long line. All right, here's the last line. If anything is flashy, it's this one, and it's not very flashy. It is a little bit repetitive, but you'll see it's actually not too difficult to get. So we're going to slide up here on the 5th string 11th. That's where we're going to begin. I'll try and play it slowly. Okay, so that's it. So we're going to start out here back to our normal blues box position. So this should be very comfortable for you. So we're going to slide up to the 11th on the 5th string. And at this point, we slide up from 12th to 14th. And I pick that. So that's up to the 14th, then 12th, then 14th on the second. And then I play 12 and 14, bend a half step. And that's that. Okay, gang. Well, there you go. One of the best of the best. Mick Taylor on this solo from Sweetheart Like You, Bob Dylan's Infidels album. Definitely one of the all-time classic solos. Hope you enjoyed this one. Don't forget to leave your comments below. If you liked it, please give it the thumbs up. And we'll see you on down the road.